Hey, this is Steve Goodner. I'm back. You can tell it's the weekend. I'm kind of more casual than I normally am. I wanted to share something that I thought about today. Got home from church, and it was a really good sermon this morning on where we are in our lives and how emotions drive a lot of what we do and how we feel about things. There's a whole faith aspect to what I do for some clients, not all clients, but I wanted to share something around transformation because there's so much misunderstanding about transformation. What is it? What does it look like? Is there one way to do it? I want to break that down and try to make it as simple as possible. This is the series Emotionally Intelligent Living Straight Talk with Steve. And these are unscripted, as you can probably tell. But I want to break down some key things around transformation today. Number one, you are one of one. There's nobody else like you. There's never been anybody like you that has the same DNA, the same experiences in life, the same cultural upbringing, the same everything. I mean, there just isn't anybody else like you. Even identical twins are different in many ways. And so as we think about transformation, we have to put it in context with who we are as individuals, because my transformational pathway may not be anywhere near what yours should be. And that's why when I work with people, whether it's coaching or consulting, or maybe it's just do a series of assessments and send people on their way with that data, help them find the right pathway for their own development. That's the key. It is unique to you as an individual. And so transformation is very much about how do we find that pathway? I choose to go the data-driven approach. I've been through dozens and dozens of different assessments over the years. I have found about 10 or 12 that I use consistently, not all on the same person. I just want to share that. But maybe 3, 4 different assessments for an individual to really get a good sense of where they are in their emotional intelligence, where they are in their habit formation, where they are in their personality and their styles, their preferences, work style, communication style, and really where they are in maybe some specific areas. So if it's sales, if it's leadership, there may be another assessment added. What's the point of all of that? We want the best information possible before we make important decisions. I think we would all agree on that. Well, there's a lot more available to people today than there ever has been. I have worked with thousands of people over the years, and we've worked through assessments, help them understand where they are, because transformation only happens when certain elements are in place. The first thing is a growth mindset. That's a key element. You've got to want to learn and grow. If you don't have that growth mindset, then that's the first thing we want to work on. How do we get there? And sometimes it's just being able to see the benefits of developing a growth mindset. And the beautiful part of that is not genetic. Anybody can develop a growth mindset. Anybody can develop emotional intelligence skills. So the first part of that is wanting to learn and grow. The second part of transformation is getting some good data. And some of that can simply be feedback from people you trust. It could be assessments. It could be a variety of things. It may be your own internal self-awareness of where you are and what you want to change. And really, the best path forward includes all of those things. So it's gathering good information about your current reality. So we have the growth mindset, we have the data gathering, so you have a good understanding of the current reality. And then the next step is to decide, what do you want to work on? Because in my experience, picking one or two or maybe three things to work on is about the max that anybody can do that makes sense. I've had people that go, well, there's these 7 things I want to work on. Guess what happens? They start on all 7 and it just drops after usually a short period of time. It's just too much to focus on because we're not doing that in a vacuum. We're working on our development and our transformation, changing things we want to permanently. That's what transformation is. We work on that all the time. And we also have our work that we work at and our home life that we live. And all of those things are demanding time, energy, focus, and effort, the 4 primary things that each of us control. So picking 2 or 3 at the most that really will move the needle the most and help you get where you want to go. And that's the next element. What are the goals behind developing yourself? What are the goals behind this transformational process? And that is a really important part, because when it gets difficult, when it becomes work, if there isn't a goal that keeps you motivated, then you're probably going to give up on it. It's why so many people make New Year's resolutions that don't last maybe a month or 2 at the most, because they don't have a solid, clear goal that is realistic and attainable. And that drives their intrinsic motivation. So those are some of the elements involved in what we call transformation. And let me define that. Change is something that you change today, but could change back tomorrow or next week or next month. Transformation is caterpillar to butterfly. You're not going back to a caterpillar once you've transformed into a butterfly. It just doesn't happen. And that's the kind of long-term transformation that we're looking for. And that's why it's so important when you're thinking about transformation for yourself. It's so critical to figure out, where is the next step? What do I want to take on next? Because you can be haphazard and random with your growth and just, I like that, I'll try that, or I'll try this or whatever. But that's not strategic and it's not intentional. Think about transformation as being strategic and intentional. If I want to achieve a certain thing in my life, what are the steps that I need to take to get there? And what we know about learning new skills, becoming better at something, is that 4-step process. You move from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious competence. So I think you can follow that pathway. That's a transformational process as well. It's a good way to measure the transformational process. And it's why we don't try to do so many different things at the same time. So what is it about transformation that is important? When I work with organizations in their hiring process, when they're trying to hire the best possible talent, one of the things that I look for and I consult with my clients to look for is somebody who truly has engaged a growth mindset toward a transformational experience. What does that mean? Simply what it says. They have a growth mindset already, and they want to learn, they want to grow, and they have personal goals of transformation. How do I want to shape my future, my career? So when you think about transformation, keep those elements in mind and think forward, as well as look around today and look in the rearview mirror at the past and where you've been, so that all of those things will inform you on the best path forward. And I believe there is a best path forward for all of us. Now, some of us, like me, that didn't come into this knowledge until, somewhere in my 30s or so, which is a long time ago now. I did a lot of trial and error, and there is nothing wrong with that. If you see something you're interested in, there is nothing wrong with that. Just put it through the filter of, does it serve me well? Is it something that could add value to who I am, how I show up in the world? Everything doesn't have to be about performance. Some of it can be just about enjoyment, which actually fosters a more creative, innovative mind and a better mindset overall. There has to be a balance between work and producing and all of that, and enjoyment and refreshing and recharging our batteries. So if you're interested, try it out. Make sure that you put it through the right filters, the right decision process, so that you come out of that with a clear understanding of where you want to go, how you want to get there, and what benefit is going to be there for you, which really comes down to the big why, right? Why would I do something like this? So that's just a few words around transformation. I encourage everybody to try to develop a strong growth mindset so that the transformations you make are easy, in the sense that you have a process. They're not easy necessarily in actually making the transformation, but you have a process, you have a pathway in place. Why is that important? And I'll leave you with this. It's important because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We don't know what technology is going to look like in a year, or a month for that matter, or tomorrow. So we have to be preparing ourselves to be in the best position possible to take advantage of the things that are coming our direction. And the best way to do that is not any specific targeted skill or process or efficiency. It isn't any of that. Those are good things. There's nothing wrong with those. But it really starts right here. How well are we in a mindset that is transformational? I don't know that I said that very well, but I think you get the point, right? As I said, these are unscripted. So think about creating that mindset of growth and development that will allow you to be agile and adaptive in the way you approach the things that come your direction. Because what we know today will change significantly in 5 years. Jobs that people will hold 5 years from now don't even exist today. So it's something to think about as you move forward. And don't miss the benefits of this in your personal life, your relationships, where you live, the enjoyment that you get out of your hobbies. Those are important just as much as the work that you do. We want to be a well-rounded individual who has a true understanding of how to find that balance in their lives. And balance doesn't necessarily mean 50-50. We may need to focus more on our career, our work. We may be at 70 or 75% for a period of time, but somewhere down the road, maybe that backs off to 60%. So balance is situational depending on where you are. It is not a 50-50 proposition. When I talk to couples about marriage and about relationships, and I hear this term, well, we both need to give our 50%, 50% or whatever. Well, obviously that isn't right. It isn't what works. When we think about relationships, and if we want to transform relationships, you give 100% into that relationship every day. Now, your 100% today may be better or worse than your 100% tomorrow, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because that is the reality of life. But that's a part of growing the right mindset. And growing the right mindset in the front of your mind and the way that you approach things allows you then that ability to be transformational and to engage in transformational experiences as you move forward. If you want to know more about transformation and what that looks like, check out our website, eqfit.org. There are all kinds of links in the description to this video. Feel free to check those out. Some of those are books I've written. Some of those are our YouTube channel, our podcast, lots of different free resources for you to check into. Have a great rest of the weekend, whatever weekend you may be watching this, and I'll be back with you soon.